So what does it mean to be a digital citizen? Digital citizenship can be defined as the norms of appropriate, responsible behavior with regards to technology use. This is a broad definition, but for our purposes, we can say that it is learning to be safe, smart, and responsible users of technology. There are many wonderful opportunities for kids in the digital world. At the touch of a keyboard, they can learn so many things. There are amazing educational websites for kids to access and the ability to look up anything or any question you may have instantly. My son is already an expert at navigating our iPad at the age of 4. They gravitate to them so naturally. However, studies have shown that the average 8 to 18-year-old spends more time watching TV and movies, playing video games, or playing online than they do in school or with parents, an average of 7.5 hours a day. Kids literally have the world at their fingertips. But how do we keep them safe? There are internet predators, cyberbullying, and scams of all kinds out there. You can't be with them all the time. You have to do what you do in your everyday life. Teach them right from wrong, guide them in the right direction, and then trust in them to make the right choices. Media isn't going anywhere. In fact, it's only going to evolve. And kids are going to continue to use technology to do what they need to do developmentally, to define themselves and push boundaries. But unlike when we grew up, they're doing it in public. That's why it's more important than ever for kids to think critically about the opportunities and challenges of the digital world and to make safe, responsible, and respectful choices. Just because kids are fluent in new technologies doesn't mean they understand the implications of their actions. Their abilities outstrip their judgment. That's why parents and schools need to guide their kids. Keeping up with them can be difficult, but with a little bit of common sense, you can make a big difference. Here at North Davis, we'll be using curriculum from Common Sense Media. The topics cover 1. Internet safety. This has topics like keeping your personal information private. 2. Privacy and security. Talks about using safe passwords, what is spam, and to watch for scams. 3. Relationships and communication. How do you become a respectful user of technology? Cyberbullying, number 4. Looks at how cyberbullying can look different than in-person bullying and how to stand up to bullying and not be a passive bystander. 5. Your digital footprint and reputation. Talks about how what you do and say on the internet stays there and that you need to protect others' private information just as much as you protect your own. 6. Talks about self-image and identity. This looks at gender stereotypes and how media can play a role in that. 7 is information literacy. This teaches how to correctly cite resources, how to effectively search for information online, and to evaluate website content. And finally, 8, creative credit and copyright. This introduces the students to copyright and fair use laws. The next couple of frames are tips from Common Sense Media. These are the basic rules of the road. Embrace their world. Using digital media is part of what it means to be a kid today. And if you share your kids' enthusiasm for it, they're most likely to come to you for help navigating it. So learn how to make a Facebook page, figure out how to text, try uploading a video, and check out what that gaming box can do besides play games. A great way to do this is to ask your child for help and then do the activities together. That said, try not to invade boundaries. They need room to develop. Next, encourage balanced use. A general rule of thumb is that the amount of time the kids spend with media and technology should be equal to the time that they spend doing other activities, whether that's hanging out with their friends face-to-face, spending time with their family, playing sports, or doing their chores. To help you and your kids manage their time, you can have them keep a media log to keep track, or use the Common Sense Family Media Agreement. Next, monitor media use as best as you can. With Wi-Fi mobile devices and now their laptops and iPads and Chromebooks, everything they have access to, it's nearly impossible to monitor everything that your kids are doing. That's why it's important to ask questions about what they are doing and keep a line of communication open. For elementary school kids, keep media out of their bedrooms. As they get older, that may not be as feasible, but you can encourage older kids to use media in areas where it's easier for you to monitor, like like in the living room or the kitchen. And if you want to go farther, you can make a no cell phone or laptop policy at bedtime and actually remove the devices from the kids' room at a specific time. This will help them get much needed sleep and help you know that they are not behind closed doors texting with their friends at 2 a.m. Also discuss with them which sites they can visit and what they can download. It doesn't have to be a mystery or a secret where they visit. Just be open to them and let them know that they can talk with you about any concerns that they may have. Also, no cyberbullying. Let them know that there is no acceptable reason for cyberbullying at any time. Explain to them that nothing is really private. In today's media environment, it's very important to discuss protecting kids' own privacy as well as their friends. Kids need to understand that anything they put online or send to their friends on their cell phones isn't really private. Everything leaves a digital footprint, and whatever gets created never goes away. Anything that kids put out in the digital world can be cut and pasted and spread throughout the entire school and beyond with the click of a button. So while kids may not intend for something to go public, it easily can. Also look at establishing privacy settings. The most basic thing that kids can do to protect themselves is set up a privacy settings on any of their social networking sites. All the major sites have an area where you can access information. Kids shouldn't just assume it's the default state of private. They need to adjust the settings and limit what other kids can see and use. Kids also need to understand that they should protect their friends' privacies too. Passing along a rumor or identifying someone in a picture called tagging affects that person's privacy. If your kids are tagged in friends' photo, they can ask to have the photo or the tags removed. But there's not too much you can do beyond that. Also, you need to keep your passwords private. Kids shouldn't share their passwords with anyone but you. They may think that telling their best friend is okay, but they can never predict what their friend might do with that information if they happen to get in a fight. It's just not worth the risk. Teach kids to ask who, what, and when questions. To help kids learn who and what they can trust and believe online, one of the best ways to do that is to teach your kids to ask who, what, and when questions about websites. Who created this website? Is it from an educational institute, a nonprofit, or a commercial enterprise? What information does this site include? Can you find other sources that verify the information? If you can only find a fact or a story on one site, it probably is not reliable. Is the site trying to sell you something, or is the information there solely for educational purposes? When was the last time it was updated? Generally, the more updated the information, the better. Students need to balance their research sources. Kids will hear this from their teachers, but you should reiterate that they need to balance their research sources, not just for their homework. They should look at different news sites so that they can get a full picture of a certain issue and different viewpoints, as well as verifying what they have learned. You should also be checking, is a person who they say they are. Just as information may not always be accurate, people may not always be who they say they are. Kids shouldn't assume that just because someone says they're 17 or that they're a girl, that they really are. Kids are a marketer's dream. Point out all the ways that marketers target them. Kids need to recognize that they're being marketed to everywhere they turn, from traditional TV, print, and radio ads to product placements in TV shows and movies. Interactive ads blaze throughout online and gaming worlds, where sponsorships, contests, and product endorsements appear regularly. Ads also come to our kids disguised as free cell phone ringtones in exchange for receiving text ads, surveys and pass-along games, and quizzes that capture email addresses when the kids respond or forward them to each other. This is called viral marketing. Help kids to learn to identify different types of advertising so that they can see through the hype. Much of the information in this slideshow came from the website Common Sense Media. It is a great resource to both parents and teachers. I have used it as both. They have reviews on websites, movies, games, TV shows, books, music, and even apps. The reviews include information about content and have helpful tips on what families can talk about. Common Sense also has expert advice on all issues we've talked about in this presentation and more. The organization's email newsletter, which is free, offers a weekly roundup of the latest media releases and parenting tips on hot topics. Common Sense Media is building a movement of parents, educators, and young people who care about raising media-smart kids. This organization's focus is to advocate on improving the media landscape and getting the word out. Our school is committed to helping your kids thrive in this digital world, but we need your help to ensure that they use this powerful tool in a safe, responsible, and respectful way. We know it's hard for you to keep up with what your kid's doing online because things are evolving quickly. Together, we can help your kids be a good digital citizen.